This is what we found with the insurgent groups there, and I'm kind of burning through this because we're going to get into the meat of what we're discussing here in a minute. Is they got some direction, guidance, and funding, but their desired end state, right there at the bottom, their unified external goal, external to their organization, not necessarily the whole movement, was infidels out. I can tell you on December 17th, 2011, they achieved their defined external goals because I was standing there watching it happen. My son left a week before I did. So they, in that sense, they achieved their end state.
And Randy, just to reiterate, that infidels out. It's simple, it's short, it's clear. Anybody, if you can process oxygen, you can get infidels out. Important lesson, I submit.
We'll talk about one turning point for the current government here in a little bit. And the one turning point there was, and I didn't know this till a year after I got home, was bin Laden announced that al-Zarqawi was the Prince of Iraq. And that was a big yawning moment. So what? 3 weeks later, you couldn't walk down the street without people trying to sign up for the Iraqi army. And I find out a year later that what he said was that. What the Iraqis heard was a Saudi telling a Jordanian, it's okay to kill Americans. Or I'm sorry, it's okay to kill Iraqis. And they came out en masse to join the Iraqi Defense Force. That's one of those turning points. So you need to be alert for things like that. I'm going to give you a turning point here in a minute that came by and you may not have noticed. But it's one of those things we need to seize on. Actually, a couple of them. So what was the result of their internal, or the result of what was going on with the autonomous groupings and the open source insurgency and all that, is due to DOD's force structure under Rumsfeld, we ended up playing tactical whack-a-mole. We could mass on them and stay there for 3 or 4 weeks, a month, whatever it was, and the pressure would get too great and they'd move to the neighboring area and start acting out there. And we'd pack up in the trucks and the tracks and all that, and we'd move over there and we'd beat on them some more and they'd go back to where they came from. How does that apply to us? We need to make the regime off board, play tactical whack-a-mole. And that's not necessarily in the overt, loud, noisy, lethal sense, but politically and psychologically. We need to make them, they can't concentrate, they can't mass, and there are different types of attacks. And everybody thinks of an attack as fixed bayonets, that hill we go. There are electronic attacks, there are psychological attacks, there are all sorts of things. Okay, so we need to make them on all levels look for the non-existent leader. Okay, you can hear this, you're a member of the resistance, that type of thing. Right? But there's not one guy out there doing this, but everybody is taking the same actions relative specific to their area at the same time. And then that forces them to look in all directions.